Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about Chris Herndon and why I think he is going to take a big step forward in 2020. But before we get started, I just wanted to mention that you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. Make sure to tune into the podcast, new episodes every Monday. You can call in, leave me your question, I'll try to get to it on the show. So supposedly the New York Jets are really high on Chris Herndon going into 2020, and they absolutely should be. Herndon was drafted in the 4th round of the 2018 draft, and he came out of Miami, where he was a productive player there and had an impact pretty quickly with the New York Jets in 2018 with rookie Sam Darnold. At age 22 in his rookie season, he had just over 500 yards, 502 with 4 touchdowns, and his Pro Football Focus grade was a 74.4. He really wasn't involved in the offense all that much in the first 5 weeks of the year, but in the last 11, from week 6 through week 17, he was very, very solid for the Jets. Over those final 11 games, he eclipsed 50 yards 5 times, and all 4 of his touchdowns came during that stretch as well. Injuries held him to just 1 game in 2019. He was also suspended to start the year, so it's kind of just a complete wash, the 2019 season. So we didn't really get to see him all that much, but I expect big things out of him in 2020. When you look at what other rookie tight ends who have gone on to be extremely productive did in their rookie years and compare it to Herndon, they're pretty similar. Jason Witten had 347 yards in 2003. Gronk had 546 in 2010. Jimmy Graham in 2010 had 356, and Kittle in 2017 had 515. Now, I'm not necessarily going to sit here and say that Chris Herndon's going to be someone who is going to eclipse 1,000 yards every year, but I expect him to be a real solid option in the passing attack, someone who will push more than that 500 yards that he had in his rookie season. Something that I'm a little concerned with is Adam Gase's use of the tight end. Now, this past year, he got Ryan Griffin pretty involved, but I'm going to link a little bit of that to Sam Darnold, and I'll get to Sam Darnold and his use of the tight end in a second, but really the gist of it is in 2018 and 2019 in the NFL, Sam Darnold showed that he is rather comfortable throwing the ball to the tight end. Whether it was Herndon in 2018 or Griffin in 2019, he really liked to check down to the tight end. So since 2016, we'll start from 2019 and work our way backwards. Ryan Griffin had 320 yards and 5 touchdowns. That's really the most productive year a tight end has had under Gase. In 2018, Mike Gesicki had 202 yards and no touchdowns. He really came onto the scene a little bit more last year in year 2 without Gase. In 2017, Julius Thomas had 388 yards, 3 touchdowns. In 2016, Deion Sims had 256 yards and 4 touchdowns. So the tight ends and Adam Gase usually don't go hand in hand with production. Like I said earlier, Sam Darnold really seems comfortable with the tight end, so I'm going to throw those poor Adam Gase stats out the window. I don't think that Herndon's going to come back and be, someone who's going to maybe cap out at 300 yards. I think he's going to be very involved in the offense because they've kind of hinted at that all offseason long. And then on top of that, his talent level is better than all of those tight ends just listed off right there. Julius Thomas wasn't the same player that he was, back in his heyday when he was with Denver. So it's not really fair to compare and contrast with those guys. I think you're looking at more closely a trajectory like we saw with those bigger name tight ends from their rookie season to what they were able to become in the NFL. According to NumberFire, they projected these stats for Chris Herndon in 2020, that he's going to have roughly 71.6 targets, 45.5 receptions, 495 yards, and 3.5 touchdowns. That's what their model is showing. And I honestly think he's going to eclipse most of those. I don't know, maybe, the target seems pretty fair, but I expect him to be definitely above the 495 yards, and I think he's going to hit the over on the touchdowns as well. If I had to put a prediction on it, I'm going to say he comes in at actually over 700 yards, maybe even closer to 800, and I think he can get, 5, 6, maybe even 7 touchdown passes, touchdown receptions. I'll say 6. And it's been a long time since the Jets have had a productive tight end to this caliber. Dustin Keller is really the last one, and he was the last one to eclipse 700 yards, which he did. He had 815 yards in 2011. He had a really nice stretch run with the Jets from about 2008 to 2011, got hurt in 2012, and then was never really the same player. He went to Miami, but that didn't last very long as he got hurt. But I think Chris Herndon can be like a Dustin Keller type in production, someone who gets 700, 800 receiving yards. Like I said, 1,000 might be a stretch in this offense, but I definitely see Sam Darnold as a guy who likes to spread the ball around, and I expect Darnold's passing yards and passing numbers to go up a little bit this year. So with the addition of Chris Herndon to this offense, I think him and Griffin are going to have a really nice 1-2 punch at the tight end position, and I really think Herndon could push for 700 receiving yards this year. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. What are you expecting out of Chris Herndon this year? Give me yards and touchdowns, all that fun stuff. And thank you so much for tuning in today. Once again, I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll talk to you next time.